What's happening? We're in the conversation, number one show in the world for comprehensive barbershop talks. Your boy Rashid Muhammad.
It's your boy Music Monk ATL.
Mr. Wellness Architect.
Yo.
And our special guest who we can't even hear.
Nah, man, you don't do right. You too.
Hang on. We got a little technical difficulty.
Right.
You don't have to touch anything.
Don't touch nothing, sir. Sit down. Sit down there, young. There you go. Hey, man. Before we, we can definitely. So before we get started, good to see you. Glad you're safe. You're doing your thing. Let's just talk about this ensemble real quick. I see you got the fresh plaits, crisscross style, a la Fresh Prince '93. What you got going on, brother? Explain it. Please break it down for the people out there in Beer and Conversation land for us, please.
Well, look, man, we're gonna get into that, and I'm gonna tell you, I can't wait. I've got a whole script for that. First off, I want to say something. Thank you guys, because you guys have been the glue that's kind of held this together and helped me to do what it is that I'm doing. So my hair, as you know, got really, really long. Is my sound good in the studio?
Nah, man, you good, man. Extra
Sound
good.
fine.
Extra good.
All right. I just wanted something that was simple, right? You know what I mean? I'm very excited. I'm excited about what we're doing. I can't say enough about it. I think that we have a very good show planned this evening. And there are some things that I think need to definitely be addressed kind of up front. One of which is that before we get into all the good fun, we need to establish some ground rules. I don't want to do any bashing. I don't think that the brothers are going to do that. I don't think that's how we are. But I think that we need to say that for the brothers and the sister end, right? I don't know what's going to be said via comments or whatever, but when we start talking about this, man, it just inflames people. And then my marriage. Not that y'all have, because y'all haven't, but there are people that have, that are going to equate the opinion that I have about things with the marriage. And so right before we get into it, I wanted to let y'all know something. I had actually went to, when you don't know the lay of the land somewhere, you'll type in your phone, lounges nearby. So while I was writing some things for the show last night, I had decided, okay, well, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me just go to a lounge, hang out, get like a rum and coke, whatever. And so I typed everything in lounge near me. 140 feet. I was like, this is a godsend. I go out there, man, good looking Puerto Rican girl, very shapely. And she goes in there, and I'm thinking, I'm like, there's a God somewhere, right? And I go in there. I stumbled into the wrong place. I saw some things in there that, listen, what you do is what you do.
Spit it out, man. Spit it out.
All right, okay.
Shit.
It's a Blue Oyster Bar.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like what was it? Huh? What?
I seen men like taking shots, like not like clink clank taking shots, but like it's a vial and I'm gonna take this shot and then I'm gonna share this shot with you, and that was a different experience. I had already ordered a cocktail. I stayed there for about 10 minutes and I seen the Puerto Rican girl and I was trying to get her to come over there towards me. Basically it was a gay bar. I tried to get
all right, move on. We waited too long. This is a terrible story. I love you, bro, but this is a terrible story.
No, it gets better.
Get to it then. Like, we waiting. The world is waiting.
All right, here's what the comedy is. I said to the girl that was in there, because there was 3 girls, I said, hey, well, can you come over here? I was trying to get just come over here and stand next to me, just as like a bodyguard per se, And she was like, no, just come to me where I'm at. And she was in the thick of a crowd, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to get into that crowd. But I went over there and I said, hey, can you come over here? She said, why? I was like, I did not know where I was coming from. And I had my Atlanta sweatsuit on.
Bruh, all right, I'm done with this story. You got the Atlanta sweatsuit on in the gay bar in Philly?
Exactly. I did not know where I was going.
You gotta say that 17 times during this story.
I said, look, I didn't know where I was going. She was like, look, you were in here. And I'm not judging people. I don't judge them for that. I was like, yeah, but I'm not from here, so I don't know. She's like, yeah, you're from Atlanta.
So you know exactly where you at.
Where's the bell? Where's the goddamn bell? Shit. Thank you. Sir, you were eviscerated. Like, there's nothing left.
I was.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
So I said, okay, well, check this out. And this is the honest to God truth. I was like, yeah, I'm saying that I'm from Atlanta to say that I'm not from here. I don't know where everything is. She's like, she was like, I hear that stuff all the time. I was like, I'm telling you that this time it is really the truth. It is really true that I did not know where I was. I walked in there. I was like, well, I done stepped in some shit in here. I'll tell you that. So,
hey, you know what? I'm gonna help you out with this story. So in the future, brothers, when you're traveling, don't just randomly search for lounges nearby. Click on the fucking website. It probably would have told you. The website would have told you what it was about. I ain't got no bill, so Thank you.
I get it for convenience, and so then I come back out to this is my studio apartment I'm staying up here. I went back and I said, hey, to the security guard, there's a black lady, older lady. I said, why didn't you tell me when I was asking you what direction I was in? And she said, I just kind of see you moving in and out. You don't bother nobody, and I didn't get that vibe from you, but I didn't want to offend you. She was like, so I didn't say nothing. I was like, well, from here on out, I'm going to run everything through you. She's like, well, just stay off of Locust Street. Now, that's free game I just gave you.
Definitely free game. Definitely free game. Yeah, definitely free game. Which is what you should have got before you took your ass to that bar. Hey, man, let's stay on topic, man. All right. So, why we came here? Let's get down to brass tacks, as you would say, my brother.
Okay, but can I give you like a little bit of like a 20-second? Have y'all seen Police Academy movies?
Yes, all 85 of them. Yes. That's what he
already. Blue Oyster like
he literally mentioned this already. Like,
JoJo, you remember that? JoJo might be too young. I want to show you something. I want to show you how I felt for like 2 seconds. JoJo. And while he's getting that together, we're gonna get back.
Right. Bow.
So where is Joe? Oh.
Yes. So look, don't talk. Yeah, don't talk, cause I got some serious questions for you, my brother. So in the clip,
go ahead and ask it now. I have the answers already.
In the clip, it was very obvious that they was on the wrong side of town. So how long did it like they were in there for a while? So I mean, were you observing your surroundings? Did you notice that it was a lot of similar polarities going on? I mean, what was the real indicator that you were in the wrong spot?
Well, here's the thing, Mom. God gives us vision as men. Like, we can see, like, and when we're about to get into the meat of the show, that's why we can see our community and society going off a cliff. Like, God give us vision. And it's kind of a gift and a curse, right? Because we're visual people. So
true.
I didn't see everything going on around me before I went in because I saw what was right in front of me.
Them cheeks.
Right? We're very visual. We tend to follow what we see.
When you said shapely Puerto Rican girl, I said, I know where this is going. I didn't know it was going into the bar though.
There's God somewhere. You know what I mean? So, but okay. So let me just say this. So I real quick, and I'll make it quick so we can get into it. The reason why we're doing this show. Here's the real reason. And the reason why I'm doing it. One, Kevin Samuels died. I said the idea of Kevin Samuels, not Kevin Samuels himself, the idea of realistic expectations that men should have on themselves and on women. And I have gotten blasted for everything. And I got to thinking about it. I was like, people, even when I've been out of town, I'm doing this because people said, you need to heal, you need to heal, you need to heal, you need to heal, you need to heal. Okay, so I decided to get away. I felt like that was the best thing for me to get away. And I had to overcome some fears of being alone as a man. And a lot of men have that. When my mom died, I didn't even realize that I had that fear of being alone. So I got out and explored something completely different. Everybody I meet say, you came here by yourself? You've been here for how long by yourself? Yes. And because I had a fear of being alone. And so when we have fear of being alone as men, sometimes we'll take not so much the best company, but we'll take some company, right? And so what I found out was the person I was looking for was me all alone. And so I get up here and I start posting videos and pictures because I wanted to show the brother. Because God had blessed me enough to be in a position to where I can travel for an extended period of time. And I remember riding the MARTA train when I stayed off Hamilton E. Holmes Drive when I was at Morehouse. I remember riding plenty of times Hartfield Jackson International train from terminal to terminal. And one of the key things that they always say is that sometimes when they're about to park the train, they'll say, this train is going out of service. You cannot fix things until you put them out of service first.
Okay, I see where you're going.
You have to withdraw them from everything else.
I see where you're going.
Okay?
All right.
You know, and so I didn't come to Philly for that. I came to Philly because the rhetorical question is, when's the last time somebody told you you were going to die in 90 days? That's anxiety. We established that anxiety leads to stress. Stress leads to dis-ease. Compound word, dis-ease. Dis-ease leads to disintegration. Disintegration, which is disintegration, leads to death. I had to see an anesthesiologist, bariatric surgeon, cardiologist, dentist, general practitioner, holistic / homeopathic healer, liver specialist, microbiliary doctor, nephrologist, optometrist, radiologist. I have a criminal attorney, a divorce attorney, a medical malpractice attorney. I'm out on bond for felony charge. My point is that, and I live in a neighborhood in Gwinnett County. That's a very nice neighborhood. And I can't even drive every day in my Escalade or Benz or whatever the fuck ever. Because when they get behind me, they turn when I turn, they turn. And I know they can see I'm out on bond. So I can't even stay looking at the line straight for looking at them. And it may cause me to swerve outside the lines, giving them breathe. That's stress. That's stress. That's what stress looks like. But you know what? Nobody asked me that. So I went through a physical attack, an emotional attack, a psychological attack, a spiritual attack all at the same time. And people say I'm gloating because I'm showing things out here. And all I'm trying to do is show the brother what we about to talk about in this show. That the world is bigger than Atlanta. Because I know that they don't have a month or 2 months to leave to see that they got value everywhere. And they don't have to be in debt to get women. And that they don't have to keep quiet to keep a woman. So what happened was, because I got away for the right reasons, I ran into unexpected beneficial consequences of actually getting away. I didn't come to Philly for the women. Nobody says go to Philly for women. I came here because when you're a boxer and you're training, you want to sometimes come to the roughest of places. And what I found out was, when ain't nobody got money, like when I went to Jamaica with my boy Daryl, when ain't nobody got money, your currency is your character. It's who you are and not what you have.
Let me get a bomb on that one, man.
All right, we got one more bomb, and it's gonna come. Here's the thing. So I address the men. I address the men because the change come with the men. It don't come with them. It's not because they're not bad. It's because in order to understand simple economics, you understand the market is what drives the price. So if every man believed that he have to get, he will go in debt, he'll do this, that, and other. And I wanted to show the brethren No, you don't have to do that. I'm telling you that all I have is my first name. I don't use my surname. I don't have any of the luxurious things that I have. I got on a Nike jumpsuit. I'm chilling. I got on. Listen, I have had some of the greatest experiences in my life that far transcends that. By just meeting and greeting people, because I am treated as an individual and I am not expected to have things. Here's my point. This is where we're really going with this. They need to know this. Because once they know it, then maybe they won't do the things that they do. You be in a room with motherfuckers, man, and it's a smoky room. The one regretful thing that I have about the post that I said about women in Atlanta is that they don't even know how fucked up they are. Because when you're in a room where everybody's smoking, whether you're smoking or not, when you come out, you smell like smoke. It's not until you get into a non-smoking environment to where everybody's like, you smell like smoke. And the same thing to the men. You don't even know how bad it is. They don't expect me to have anything. So they treat me the way they treat me. Same thing, like I said, when I went to Jamaica. Same shit. Exact same shit. Nobody, when you go partying with the locals, when you get outside the resort, everybody treats you good. Ain't nobody jealous of nobody because nobody got nothing. It's different. So the one thing that I do regret saying was that they don't even know how filthy they are. They have no idea how filthy they are. And I'm not saying that to say that they're bad people, because people have called me and said, Laris, they lie everywhere. Yeah, but the lies don't cost as much here. That's what I want you to think about. They don't cost as much here. I didn't get away for that. I came to Philly. I didn't come here for that. But people started treating me like an individual. You know what Laris learned? That Laris was enough. And that's what I wanted the brethren to know. That's why we're doing this show. It's the idea of Kevin Thornton. Do not be afraid to tell them the truth.
Hold on. I
put posts up last statement, and y'all can take this thing and run. I put posts up, and I address men in the post. Go to my page. Day after day after day after day. I got 200-300 views on video. I put a post up addressing men. Women dive in it. I asked the women today one question. One logical question. And I addressed it towards women. Not one woman touched it. I need a bomb. Not one woman. Go to my page. When I address men, they jumped in. I asked the women one question. Nobody touched it. And y'all in your free time, go back and touch it. Monk, I'm gonna let y'all go on and I'll chime in as needed, but I had to get that off my chest.
Whew, yeah, so first of all, correction. You referred to our brother Kevin Thornton. You had him confused with the late brother Kevin Samuel. So this is the only correction I had. I just didn't want his name being caught up in the vitriol that you are most certainly going to stir up as we progress forward with this show. So
I'm corrected.
I want to go. You know I gotta tease your brother, man. But definitely, you know what I mean. It was a lot of passion. There's a lot of meat in what you said. You know, there's a lot to chew on. Accountability for us first. And I think right. I think with us doing this platforms, I think it shows that we are on each other's ass, but we are also learning how to be more compassionate and vulnerable and checking in and making sure that we tell our brothers that we love them, that we tell our brothers that we care, that you know that we let know, you know, that there's an open line of communication. So I just want that to be known first and foremost, that we are putting in the work. It's taking time, but there is a genuine effort going on. So with that being said, before we really get into the man himself, Rashid, what you been pondering over there? You just kind of just been.
So you left the Latina
right
in the
right.
bar? Is that how that played out?
Listen.
Damage was done,
I think
right?
that she thought that I was lying, like, because she said specifically, she's like, "Yeah, I've heard it before." I was like, "No, this time it's true."
It's probably heard that too.
And speaking of Latino, I was hanging out. I was hanging out with Puerto Ricans last week, but I moved to another place. And I tell you, this young Puerto Rican girl had to be 23, 24, comes outside. It's raining. I'm on the phone. And, you know, we're paranoid. We're shell-shocked. So I'm like, oh, God, what does she want? She's like, hey, papi. I'm like, oh, they're about to ask me for something. And I'm on the phone, and she's like, it's raining. She's like, come stand under here so you don't get wet.
Boy, it blew your mind, didn't it? That shit blew your mind, didn't it?
I had Elizabeth. Well, she didn't say her name was Elizabeth. She said it was Liz, white girl, down there at the pub. Cinco de Mayo comes up, says, Cinco de Mayo, you got to take a shower. Okay, being a Southern gentleman, my mindset says, okay, well, I owe you one too. Liz says, no, you don't owe me no shot, but you do owe me a hug. Y'all?
No. I smell what you're cooking. Mr. Thornton.
Yes, sir.
What you got, man?
Well, first of all, no, I'm proud of you, sir. The revelation that you have you've seen about yourself. And I think one of the things that you said that I try to get a lot of the guys that I coach to understand that they are enough. Because a lot of times they don't think or know that they're enough. And so for somebody like you to say that, and those who are listening, that's a lot, because a lot of these men do not know that they're enough. And so, you know, if we could just do our little part to make sure they understand that they are enough and they're worthy, then we're doing our job.
I agree. And I mean, and so people will say, well, they're going to say what they want to say, but what I can say for sure is that I'll never be the same. There's no way that, and first off, I found out that I'm still married. I didn't know. It's like a guy that gets a vasectomy and then still gets a woman pregnant. It's kind of weird. But for the first reason, I wouldn't be entertaining women. But most importantly, for the second reason, there's no way that I could date women that know me. Because there's going to be like a prior former expectation, and I'm not him anymore. Experiences have changed me, and I can't. I'm not saying that people aren't liars everywhere. What I'm saying is that when you find out that you do not have to perceive that you have things, you're not going to ever go back to a scenario where people are talking about, and they won't say money, but they're talking about money.
Yeah. So
I'm telling
you. So recently we lost what many of us, and when I say us, I don't mean specifically and individually, but just as a collective in this particular space. We called him the Godfather. Brother Kevin Samuels passed away suddenly. Age 53, gave us a lot of information, caused a lot of controversy, hurt a lot of feelings, men and women. I think the most, I think in the event of his untimely passing, I think what has been most alarming is just the way that people are celebrating the death of a man that actually was actually getting black men and black women married. Like, I mean, if you're going to talk about the man, you might not have liked his delivery all the time. I feel you, but I also see how people were calling his show ready to convince them that their brand of logic was true and authentic, and it really wasn't. It looked really more like delusion. So take it or leave it, whatever the case. I really have a problem with the tap dancing on this man's grave, saying that's what he got. Vivica Fox, my goodness, like, you are the last person, young lady, to get up there and disparage anybody. Like, a lot of times people are not in position. So I'm like, look at yourself first. The man's body of work, I feel like in 20 years will definitely show what he really intended for this community. It's just very disappointing. You know what I'm saying? It's just very, very disappointing. And I just want to say, anybody who has disparaged this man, you know, even if you think it, just ask yourself, why do you even feel like that's okay? Like, do you actually feel good? Because I never saw him do that. I never saw him. I've heard him say several times, I want what's best for the progression and the betterment of my community. And we have to do it with some very uncomfortable conversations. I've heard him say this several times. Why is that lost in translation? You know? So I know everybody may have an opinion or may not have an opinion.
But when has growth in general been a comfortable
it's not.
A comfortable phenomenon?
But that's the thing, and I think that's what my point is. My point is that at some point, if we want to talk about the community getting better, there's certain things that happen in certain demographics of our community. My question, and I stated this to my brothers earlier, and like I said, when you ask questions, you tend to be labeled as things or mislabeled as things. But when I think about Kevin Samuels, when I think about pink book lessons, when I think about celebrity, when I think about there's been a lot of YouTube influencers that have gotten in the relationship landscape, and they're all saying the same thing by and large about a particular demographic. It's only kind of when Kevin Samuels is doing it that there seems to be a problem. So my question would be, who is allowed to hold our women accountable? Because I know Monique tried to do it with the bonnets and they ran her out the gym, and she's a woman. There are women who have tried to explain how some things that they need to do better, but they get run out the gym. Kevin Samuels can't do it because he was run off the planet. Yeah. The question is, who, sisters? We love you. We want to protect you. We want to protect and provide. But who can hold you accountable when you make a mistake, and it not being a total indictment on everything that you are?
Right.
Like, can we do that?
I mean, I agree with you. So the real question is, if the market dictates the cost, the question is, are our women really the problem, or is it weak men the problem? Because they're a house of refuge, because they want to get ass.
I think that none of these things are mutually exclusive. They all work in tandem, but weak ass men get taken to task all the time. That's the whole point. Like, we know that there are weak ass men out there, and we identify those men and we tell them, hey, you on some sucker shit. So what's the real nature of the code amongst the genders in the black community? What's the real code? Is there a true code of identifying and holding accountable, or is the code one of, I'm not going to go against this person no matter what the optics are clearly showing? I'm going to it's really hard for me to go against this quote unquote code. Like, how are we codifying this behavior, and then people wonder why we have such dysfunction? And the death of Kevin Samuels is showing this, because there were I saw a lot of women who were just like, I wasn't offended because he wasn't talking to me, and I genuinely believed him.
Right.
Well, Monk, if I roll up on a guy that's 6'5" and I'd say that he's short, he would laugh at me. To the point of the post that I've made.
Right.
If I roll up on a guy that's 5'5" and say that he's short, he might say, yeah, but I got something for you. So to your point, the day that I made the post last week, I got 5 calls. Only one of them was bad. 4 of them were good calls from women. Non-family members. In fact, one went as far as to say, when are you coming home? I would like to see you. So I've tried to tell men that you're not going to lose women by being stern with them. And in fact, it kind of...
You're really not. You're really not, because I mean, as a man, you can't sustain this life being a waffler. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta stand pretty stable. So when you say some shit, whether or not somebody like it or not, you said what the fuck you said. Now, there's ways to approach it, and there's ways that you can be gentle yet firm. But also at the same time, when it comes to the direction, the guidance, and the protection of our community, we have to make declarations and be able to stand on them, even if it doesn't go well. And I think that's the whole thing. Like, we wanna celebrate you, but when things don't go well, we also want to correct as well, collectively. You know? So, what you got, man? You've been kind of quiet tonight.
I mean, I didn't really know this dude. I mean, and I get the, I do understand some of the other subtext behind this conversation. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we talk about this type of stuff all the time. I mean, there's certainly been a...
We do. We do.
So I'll say what I say all the time. You know, there's clearly been a degradation, and whether we're, you know, it's just black folk or whether we're the canaries in the coal mine, I don't know. But, you know, there's clearly been a degradation when it comes to just, not just men and women, but I think just interpersonal relationships in general. And I think our inability to manage conflict, I think, is a big part of it. And I'm specifically talking about black folk. You know, again, it could be larger than that, but I think the context that we're generally talking within is black folk.
Right.
I think a lot of the violence and the discord we see, whether it's between black men or, you know, black men and black women, I think that, you know, there are a lot of different, you know, people. Some people say it's the family. Some people say, you know, the lack of, you know, strong men, like we sort of talked about. I mean, some people tie, you know, sexual revolution into it, and, you know, all these things that came out of the '60s. And I don't claim to know exactly what's happened, but what I suspect is that, you know, for a fair amount of time in this country, and I know some of y'all are gonna laugh what I'm about to say, is that we have been treated with kid gloves. And let me explain what I mean by that. What I mean is that it is very difficult. So, you know, one thing I've learned professionally is that one of the hardest things you can get, and therefore one of the most valuable things you can get, is somebody professionally that will just give you the truth. It's hard finding people that'll do that. That'll give you honest feedback, that care enough about you to give you a pathway to getting better.
Can y'all hear me? I had to
Yes.
sign back in. Can
We
y'all
hear
me?
you. Yeah, you good.
Yep.
You good.
All right, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, Rashid.
Yeah, no worries. It's hard to do that. I mean, it's hard to get that. And that's not just a professional thing. I mean, it's a thing in life, and that's like what your parents are supposed to do, right? Like
Right.
when you're growing up, like they're supposed to be giving you that feedback, that hard feedback that might be uncomfortable, as we talked about earlier, you know? But I think culturally, a lot of people are looking at black folk and seeing how fucked up shit is in the black community and are scared to give black folk feedback. Because a lot of times we act the way that you talk about women act. Women don't want to hear, you know, about, you know, how they might be able to get better. They want to be held accountable. It's my belief, and again, I please feel free to shit on it, because you know, this is something I'm just kind of getting out. Maybe I may be getting out for the first time. So I think that what's happening is that when you are accustomed to, again, it's like, you know, you look at how black people are portrayed. You look at the whole woke movement, which again, I don't think is totally a negative thing, but I do think that a lot of that shit is about not holding black people accountable for shit. And I think a lot of it is externalizing the problems of black folk. And I think that when you're in an environment where when someone will try to tell you that there's some issues here, and you're able to just, you know, question their motives and that like that input is not legitimate or whatever, it can't do anything but put you in a situation that is deleterious to your own progress.
Really quickly to delve into that. All right, so they don't have any beef here, and you're a beef eater, and you want beef, and they have chicken. Are you gonna wait until some beef shows up, or are you gonna eat chicken? You gonna die waiting for beef, or you gonna eat chicken? And I think that that's the power that the brethren haven't really tapped into. Acts of war.
I need you to elaborate on this dining analogy a little
Make
bit.
a way.
Okay,
Make
sure.
a way.
All right, so let's take the eat out of it, because I know that's where Rashid gets excited when I say words like eat. But my point in saying that is this. I have put up a post that said if you went to a Benz lot and you couldn't find the Benz you wanted, and you saw a Benz online they didn't have it, and they said that the only place they had the Benz at was North Carolina, would you let the salesman sell you a Honda Accord, or would you tell him to ship you a Benz from North Carolina? What I'm trying to say, and what I'm advocating for, and what I'm saying is that there's a silent movement. Okay, maybe we will get it together. Maybe we won't. I have an issue with Biden and people like Biden who make their money off of division. And so if you insist on taking our women from us, then we just need to, realistically speaking, get our women from other places. And then before you know it, it'll be brown babies all over the place.
Okay.
Because
so now we're at war sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the war sex theory, I mean...
You will take your hands off of our community, or we will populate the rest of the community. And I think that we need to be firm about that, because these people know damn well what they are doing. This is a strategy, and we don't need to play with these people. Serpents and devils, they don't show up to tell jokes, guys. Look at the state of our community. It's a real problem. And I'm telling you, where I'm at right here, the most valued man is a black man amongst every culture. So what I'm saying is, it would be better for you to stay home, jerk off, don't spend, if they're not willing to change, then fuck them. Stay home, jerk off, and go get you a woman from somewhere else. They might be a liar, but one thing about it, everybody likes a liar that treats them good and respects them. Bottom line, period.
Man, don't be damn bombing that shit, man. That was the worst bomb ever. Man, brother, hey, man, real talk. I mean, I respect what you're saying, and a lot of it, I feel what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I feel what you're saying.
You gonna die waiting on our women to come around? You gonna die? You gonna die alone? Because they gonna die. They gonna die alone.
See, okay. We got to get you back on the rails. We're gonna get you back on the rails. I appreciate your passion. I understand. I definitely understand the sentiments behind it. We have to make it clear on these platforms, this is a collective conversation. There are a lot of amazing, beautiful black women out there who understand what's going on.
And most of them
it's a lot of them that's not married. You know what I'm saying? But like I said,
where they at? What's their address, their names, and numbers? Because that's what I need to be talking.
Well, I think at the end of the day, as long as you chase excellence and you're bettering yourself. Nah, bro, you up there in Philly, what you gonna do? You gonna hop on? You gonna Uber down here? What you need address for?
Look, blood. I'm trying to build an empire.
Hey, man, and we're gonna build an empire, and I think the best way to build an empire is to use the power of respect, diplomacy, love, protection. You know what I mean? To attract the people that you don't have to argue with. So I much rather prefer that theory as opposed to me exerting energy to populate or darken up the rest of the population. I think that takes a little bit too much effort, and then the psychological and socioeconomic aspects and ramifications. I think
I'm so with you.
You gonna set everything back 150 years. You do that shit.
I agree with you. Well, not really, but I do understand what you're saying.
Okay.
So here's the thing: our women are a casualty of what's going on. This is a war between us and the enemy. I mean, because like I said, and I was very clear about this, I said, Biden uses divisive terminology. He says, Justice Jackson is probably a great Supreme Court justice. All he had to do was say, I'm going to get a good Supreme Court justice. And then if he shows up with Justice Jackson,
right,
the first black female Supreme Court justice, nobody has a problem with that. The divisive terminology is when he says, I'm looking for a good Supreme Court justice and she will be a black woman. That's divisive. Because if I turn around and I say the same thing, if I say I'm looking for a good woman, but she needs to be light-skinned, have long, natural, wavy hair, and be 36, 24, 36, that's going to offend a lot of people. That is divisive language. However, if I say I'm looking for a good woman, I find a good woman, and then you see the woman and she looks like that, that's something different. We are in a war with them. And one of the key things that they have always done in colonialism, war, was to strip the tribe or whatever of their women. And that's what they are doing. I do not blame the black woman. That's why I don't aim a lot of my discussions at them, because this is a war that is so much bigger than them. This is a war between us and them, and they want to demilitarize us by taking our women from us. Because our women don't have enough wherewithal to understand that these people are not their friends. That
So
they're not looking out for them.
Real
I
quick.
had 2 black Uber drivers up here. 2 of them. Two that were black. Every other one was a different nationality. 2 black males. Me and one of the black male Uber drivers drove past the Philadelphia Municipal Family Court, and we both was like, damn. Like, it just did something to us instinctually. Do you know any women that get afraid of a family court? No. Every woman that I know or have known to know has this whole mindset that these people are their friends. Every black man I know means trouble. How many people do you know that's married or have children that can go a lifetime or 18 years? 18 years, Mom? And you can't have one bad financial year? Not one? Come on, man. Come on.
So real quick, and I realize I've talked enough, and I'm going to try to be as brief as I can here. So let me reframe that a little bit, Laris. So I think what you're getting at is something that has a little bit more to do with class, a little bit more. And by that, what I mean is that I think it's very clear that, you know, when it comes to just our institutes of higher education, there are very kind of clear cultural mores that are held there. And it's also true that, particularly over the last 20 years, black women have entered those institutions at a much higher rate than black men have. And so I think black women are getting probably socialized in some of the more kind of left-leaning mores that tend to exist in our higher educational system. And, you know,
we know, I'm sorry, then you can go on, but education here is brainwashing. But go ahead.
In some ways it is. Some ways, I mean, it just depends on what you're studying and who's teaching it, I guess. But so, you know, I think that some of the things that you're talking about, I think really come from just the highly progressive way that a lot of like our institutions lean, which, you know, for women tends to be, you know, less focused on, you know, the family, less focused on traditional gender roles, and very much the opposite. And so, you know, the way it plays out in the community is that a lot of women, I think, if you're a man who is relatively traditional, and I think it's fair to say that you are, when you encounter that mentality, it is very abrasive.
I want to provide and protect a woman and be a father, and I want her to take care of my greatest assets, which are my children. That is a crazy idea, isn't it?
Right, but these liberal women that are standing on the Supreme Court and like chewing abortion pills to make a point aren't necessarily going to be aligned with that.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah.
So that's all I'm really saying is I think that this, you know, there are plenty of women, as, you know, Monk said, there are plenty of black women out there that I think do fit. And as a matter of fact, I would argue that there's probably a higher percentage of black women than at least white women. You may actually find a higher percentage of, you know, Hispanic or Latina who are in line with what you're talking about. So I mean, but I think it's less worrying about those captured women and more worrying about trying to achieve the things that you want to achieve with the type of women that you want to achieve them with.
And that's
yeah. I mean, I agree, but I mean, listen, I think that I'll be fine. I think you guys will be fine. Y'all represent the top tier in terms of we don't need to talk about awareness. I mean, see, we don't need to talk about education and finance, but I mean in awareness. The Socratic engineers in general represent the top tier in terms of awareness. I think that we'll be fine. But Du Bois had this idea, or Du Bois, excuse me, had an idea that there was a fiduciary duty by the 10%, right? That's why we're here. It's not that, I mean, because to be honest with you, if I wanted to come to Atlanta and it was about, you know what, I'm not going to say that. But I could hold my own in Atlanta if it was a shit show, right? If I really wanted to. But that's not what I'm about. You don't know if you get genuine love or not. So I'm just saying in general, we have an obligation. We have an obligation to inform, because the market that is created by our men, by hip hop culture and everything else, puts a lot of men in a bad situation. And when things are bad around you, it ain't safe for you. Because when you get everything together, people are going to be coming after what you got. I'm telling you.
So this it's funny because this show, there was a lot of not necessarily hype, but anticipation just to I guess in a sense avenge some of the vitriol that our late brother Kevin Samuels had been receiving. But I like how the conversation has morphed into something. If I were to break it down into a pie chart, I mean, it sounds like we've been talking about 70% accountability on us. You know what I mean? To make sure that we're proper stewards of our community, and making sure that we understand that these are not isolated symptoms. There's multiple symptoms in the community. And I think the greater lesson is, instead of trying to micro analyze and process each one of the variables, right? Just continue to operate with patience, grace, love, definitely accountability, but not forced accountability to the point to where it becomes resentful. Because that's one thing, like criticism, it breeds resentment in any level, in any atmosphere, in any climate, right? So we have to be a lot more diplomatic and eloquent in our approach, but also still maintain the divine masculinity that maintains the order. And that's one of the bigger things that I've been learning, is that we're just out of order. And when you're out of order, everyone's running all around thinking that they have the answer. And some of us do have the answer, but there's not order in how we're processing and applying the information that we're accumulating. Right. So let's slow things down. Let's process better. Let's be intentional in our walk. Right. And that behavior will become infectious as we transition into a new era of understanding within our people and our community.
Look at you. Who is this guy? Shut up.
I'm sorry, Kevin. Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
Man, I don't know if I want to come behind this guy.
I mean, you can't. It's hard to do.
You gotta hold you can't speak if you're not holding yourself accountable. You have to have those uncomfortable conversations and see where you are.
If we go into Gross community, we can't just keep on pointing fingers. We all play a part of the dysfunction. So if we all take the time to hold ourselves accountable and elevate ourselves to be better, then everything else will come along better too. Like for what I would offer later is, the women he was attracting before, he would not see this time because he's a new version of himself. So the people who he was attracted to before is not gonna come for him because he's not
that frequency is changed.
That frequency is changed.
Yes.
And so therefore, he's going to attract a whole different person. That's why I try to tell.
Exactly.
That's why I try.
If you got a social media page and I can see your ass on it, it's a wrap.
You know, and you know,
I already know what
when I coach the guys, a lot of times they have girlfriends, but during the coaching process, they end up breaking up the girlfriends because the frequency of them have changed, and the women has not. And so that women still wants them to be that old version of who they are. And they said, no, I'm going here. And if you want to be with me, you got to elevate too. And if not, you're going to lose it. And so a lot of times I'll get phone calls from the men because they're lonely. Because now they're in this journey of evolution. And everything they knew from before is no longer good for them. It's no longer in alignment, as you said. No longer in alignment with their actions. And
Kevin, there was a movie back in the day called The Abyss, and one of the main actors in there, he had a helmet on, and they had filled it with water, and he was panicking. But here's the thing to men: once he realized that he could breathe in the water, he stopped panicking. And so, to your point, once you feel like, well, shoot, man, I can not only can I live and I can thrive, and you start to change. Now it's no longer about, because it's not that I'm not healthy in terms of having a healthy sex drive or vitality. It's what will it cost me if I do not make a good decision, or if I'm not thorough in terms of vetting the character. And let me just say something.
Perfect segue.
It doesn't matter how thorough you are. You can find yourself in a position where you felt like you're thorough. And things do happen. And it's not to say that even the other person isn't thorough. Sometimes things just don't connect the way that you want them to.
Life is very tortuous. It's very tortuous. It's all about relationships.
You got to let that go. You don't want to die.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, let it go.
So speaking of dick control, that's a good segue, because that's essentially what you're talking about, right? Dick control, right? Like making the proper decisions.
I mean, because I believe that a lot of the issues that our men experience, what bothers me is that I'll be quick about it, is that I talk to a lot of men, and sometimes the posts that I put up have nothing to do with me. But in reference to the Kevin Samuels thing, a lot of times men will go to an ambassador, right? And they'll talk to an ambassador because the ambassador has the gall to put it out there.
Right.
And I know that it's not just Kevin Samuels. It's not just me. It's not just y'all. It's a lot of men, but they won't say anything. But go ahead.
Well, just to kind of piggyback off of that notion. So I just wanted to just inject this. I know we're wrapping up soon. The Meg and Tory case. Now, I've been kind of following this for a while. It never really made sense to me, but now new evidence has come to light that she indeed suffered the injuries from glass. This was what the medical professional who treated her. So there were partial bullet fragments consistent with a ricochet, not a direct hit. And an eyewitness came forward and said that he saw her and Kelsey fighting, in which she stated in the Gayle King interview that she was not fighting. So my point in saying all of this is, Tory Lanez would have never gotten in trouble if he had dick control. Like smashing both the friends and they hang out all the time, that was like, he caused this on himself. But that, however, does not give anyone the right to railroad someone just because you see a prime opportunity. So this community has been eerily quiet with this evidence coming out. But I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on holding Tory Lanez accountable. No, he did not deserve to be railroaded. He does deserve an apology in terms of just the spirit of an apology. An actual apology will never happen. But young men out there and young women, control your bodies, because a lot of your issues in your life are coming with the recklessness of your body and your poor decision making with your body.
Right.
And that's coming on both sides.
So are you implying that bodily autonomy should be? Oh, never mind.
No. Ask. No, ask.
No, I mean, I feel like this is a very similar argument that I'm hearing now under the whole Supreme Court situation, which is, You don't get pregnant by yourself, right?
You don't.
And I remember us having a conversation about that not long ago, and I remember the justification being that, well, shit happens, right?
Well, there's a decision. There's always a decision. I never really ate anything that I didn't want to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very, very hard to just force someone to eat something that they don't want to eat. So
it is possible.
It's possible. I just said it's very hard. I didn't say it was impossible. It's just very, very hard. Which means there takes a lot of effort and intention on what it is that you stand for. So a lot of minor things become major when you don't focus on what the bigger picture is. Just because you can don't mean that you should. So if
you go ahead, Mom. You hitting on something now.
So just thinking about the consequences, I support Tory Lanez. You know what I mean? Like, I don't appreciate what happened to him, but if I'm his big brother, I'm going to say, hey, it might not be all that wise to be sexually, what's a good word for it? Irresponsible. Promiscuous with two friends and expect for there not to be repercussions. Right. The same way I would explain that to a young lady who's engaging in risky behavior. Like, think about what we always say, think about the consequence. And in this particular case, it can morph into something that you, like, Tory Lanez didn't think that night was going to lead into him being locked up several times and losing part of his livelihood for 18 months. But you'll think about that next time.
I'm going to tell you a real story about myself. And I think that I have a good chance of dismissal because of the intent behind it, but I was arguing with my wife. This happened. And I went literally from one end of the street to the other end of the street because I wanted this person to listen to me. Because and this is not a bash, this is accurate. Me not wanting to worry about what this shit was killing me, not being able to know where she was. She don't understand that, but I know that it's killing me. So when something came up and we like, and I'm looking out for this person, I'm teaching them a proprietary skill set, something that people charge people all types of money for, and they still don't even give them a practical application. I'm not saying that to down her. I don't think that she's a bad person. So I'm not going there with this. But what I'm saying is that by definition, if she wants to get out the car, even if it's on the side of the road, and you continue to go on, even though I bought her an Uber back and all of that, I get charged with kidnapping. Kidnapping my wife? Are you kidding me? Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. These laws out here are not they would probably sell it to her. Hey, we got your back, sis. No, they don't have her back. They want to bust my ass because there's money in busting my ass. And they can't get that unless she comply with it. What she decides to do, that's going to be her decision. I'm not going to, but here's what I'm saying, bro. Y'all don't know. I'm telling you that we in a very serious situation out here. And I'm telling you who our enemy is. And just like in the Garden of Eden, the serpent used the woman to get out. Y'all might want to pay attention to this. You don't see it, but it's been there since the beginning of time. The snake, which is the government, the woman, which is the conduit, have come after the man to take him down. She don't even know. So this isn't about the woman. This is about the trick that the serpent has played on the mind of the woman. Because she says, he's on our side. Now, Adam named all the damn animals. Adam named all of them. The first Adam was a weak man. Adam should have said, look, wait, I named all these animals. I don't remember no talking snake. What were you doing talking to a snake? He's on our side. Bullshit. Come on, man. Y'all get what I'm saying. We ain't got to go there. Ask JoJo how much we got. What we got? How much time?
45 seconds.
All right. Y'all say y'all final thoughts and he gonna bring us out. I didn't said no.
You think so? Hey,
I think so.
Hey man, first of all,
me now.
before we close out, man, I just want to just commend you for your dedication to your passion, your life's work, your platform. Thank you for having us a part of it. We've been rocking for some years now, man. It gets better and better each year. We have great balance, great chemistry, man. I wish us many, many, many more episodes. Don't come on here with your hair plaited up like that no more.
You jealous?
Yeah, man, I'm fucking jealous because I ain't got no hair, sir. And I ain't got no problem admitting it. But nah, man, love you, bro, man. You know what I'm saying? You're a great friend, man. Appreciate you. Want you to stay safe out there. Keep your head on the swivel. Rashid, what you got for us, brother?
I'll be back soon.
Yes, sir.
Old National got the skanks.
Okay. Jojo,